And another thing, like I told you, we were out in the streets documenting some stuff and doing some street interviews. A lot of people on the blue side of things, or on the Trump like conservative side that were against the Black Lives Matter people, they're all talking about the George Soros guy.
Yeah.
Who is George Soros?
So
He seems like some big like mystical figure.
I was a worshipper of George Soros when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, because I started following the stock market at night at 14, started trading when I was 16. I went down the library and I ordered all of the books written by the stock market greats, going back, a century. And George Soros was big time. And he'd had his books published about trading the stock market. He almost bankrupted the Bank of England when he sold short the pound, and he made billions off it. So my motto then, after watching that movie Wall Street, was greed is good. All I cared about was being a millionaire by the time I'm 30.
Mm-hmm.
It's dog eat dog, fuck all be fucked in the business world.
Right.
I had no moral compass. I just wanted to make money. So when you have no moral compass and you just want to make money, you look up to people like George Soros, which is completely reversed, as you know, my activism and everything now, helping school kids. But
Yeah.
in my 20s, I was just this testosterone-fueled financial maniac, drug-fueled. And I thought it was cool that George Soros was making billions and filed the highest income ever in the history of the world, for tax purposes. I thought that was cool. I aspired to that back then.
Yeah. Yeah. So who is he now? Why is everyone saying that he is? Why does everyone say that he's funding these people like Black Lives Matter and all
Okay,
this?
okay. So you've got divide and conquer is the strategy used by the elites. And the theory is that certain families are the most wealthy and powerful people in the world, including the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, those kind of families, who control the politicians, and that Soros is a front man for those families and he does their bidding. And the theories are that he promotes things that will increase the divide and conquer factor in the country.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they think that he's personally financing these people on the streets who are causing chaos.
Yeah, but then it gets to the point where that it's thrown around so much that anyone who tries to do anything, their enemies just say, "Well, George Soros is financing this guy to try and undermine what they're doing." So what is the waters are so muddied with all of this stuff, it's hard to discern what the truth is.
Yeah. It's really weird.
But on the subject of Black Lives Matter, there was a guy I met in prison called T-Bone. Now,
Yeah.
I was on the yard, and this T-Bone black guy, almost 6.5 foot, just strides across the yard, the Sonoran Desert, looking like something out of a Conan movie. Yeah, just his biceps were bigger than my head. And because of the rules of racial division, I never would have approached him. He was intimidating. But the prisoners were finding out, that I was writing a blog, getting
Mm.
pen pals, hooking people up with pen pals and books. So T-Bone lingered in my doorway one night. I was just writing at my little stool, table, screwed to the wall combination, and the whole room went dark as he completely blocked the sunlight out.
Holy shit.
So I just turned around and he just stood there with his trousers on. And
Good
I'm
thing they were
thinking,
on.
oh, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what does this guy want? But I got talking to him, and he was interested in English history and military history in particular, and
Hmm.
we hit it off. Now, T-Bone, I learned, was using his skills as a US Marine to stop prison rape. His entire body was covered in scars, not tiny little scratches, horseshoe sized scars from all of the life and death prison stories he had, and also from the action he saw as a US Marine. So he said it was the foulest thing anyone could do. You know, he was very religious and he believed that God had his back. Now, if you're intervening in someone getting raped, that's considered policing the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't go down well with a lot of the prisoners either, even though some people think rape's horrible and it's a good thing he's doing. So you've got a kind of division there going against the prison rules, helping people being a hero.
Right.
So he had to fight a lot of people, and oh boy, could he fight. So I showed up in the library one time, and the library was being used as an outpost for blowjobs. So I showed up in the library one time, and there was this big biker guy was getting a blowjob off this other skinny kid, young person, and I walked in there, said, "Is everything all good?" And the kid told me just to leave, get out. No, you know, it wasn't my business, so I just left. Now, T-Bone caught wind of this, and also the guy was spreading rumors that T-Bone was a snitch. Now, my cellmate was present when what followed went down. I had a cellmate called Long Island. He's the guy who hooked me up with two Tonys.
Okay.
So Long Island was in the cell belonging to the serial home invader torturer guy.
Right.
Did I tell you that one in part one? The guy who threatened
Yep.
me with a padlock in the sock? Yeah.
Yep. So he would smash your head in.
Yeah. So Long Island is in his cell. And then there's that guy, we'll call that guy Bud, the serial home invader torturer.
Okay.
There's another huge biker in there called Ken, and he's massive. And he's got his cellmate in there, Cannonball, who's the guy who was forcing the young guy to give him head in the library. So you got 1, 2, 3 white dudes in the cell. None of them as big as T-Bone or as good at fighting as T-Bone, but Bud in particular was quite psychopathic and had his padlock in the sock.
Yeah.
So T-Bone walks in, says to Cannonball, "Who you calling a snitch?" Cannonball said something back, offensive, and T-Bone was just like, bam, 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 bam on his face, knocked him out within seconds, and his head fell so hard against the toilet, water bounced out of the toilet. And then T-Bone looks around the room at the other guys, and they all just froze because he was about to take them out as well. I mean, this guy is a fucking killing machine. And yeah, my cellmate was in there, Long Island. He came back and he told me the story. Now, the guy he hit tried to hide it because that's snitching, you know. If the guards see, it's dry snitching. Because if the guards
If they see you all beat up.
yeah, that's dry snitching. So you got to hide it because if the yard's going to get locked down, they're going to do a knuckle check.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy couldn't hide it, man. He looked like he'd been hit by a train. I saw him when they took him off the yard. His face was like a blue balloon, just all swollen up. And they took T-Bone off the yard for a bit, but they brought him back on. And he was lucky because they said they were going to street charge him, but they dropped it. So I think they supported what T-Bone did on that occasion.